Hello and welcome everybody to our latest episode of the ISG Women in Digital Talks series. I'm Heli Nielson, and normally I'm joined by our co-host Lois Coatney, but Lois is away this week enjoying some much deserved vacation. So I'm really excited to be with you today, and we have a wonderful guest. Joanne Chee was named the Rising Star Award recipient in our ISG Women in Digital Awards last year in 2024 for the Asia Pacific region. She's an account manager in the public sector and enterprise division of Wipro. So please join me in welcoming Joanne.
Yeah, thank you very much, Heli. Very nice to meet everyone over here. Yes, Heli, as you have mentioned, I still vividly remember approximately 1 year ago when I was awarded the winner of the Rising Star category. I was so surprised. It was the same moment. I was right in front of my computer 1 year ago, and I was really, really surprised. And I'm so happy to share that ever since then, so much has happened. I was really early in my career in the tech industry, and over the last couple of months, I've had the opportunity to work on multiple large deals of like $50 million or more. So this was one of like my first times working on such large deals for the region, and it was incredible. Personally, for myself, it was fairly challenging sometimes in the beginning because I haven't done such large deals before. But along the way, I think that I learned so much from the teams that I was working with and my clients along the way. So I think like it was just an incredible experience in a couple of months ever since then. Yeah.
That's so great. Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to maybe take a little bit of a step back because I want to hear about that journey since the Women in Digital Awards for sure. One of the things I noticed about your background is that in the first 18 months that you spent at Wipro post-university, you were part of what looked to me like a very well-rounded and diverse leadership development program. And it seemed like you had a broad range of experiences in that program. So I want to ask you a couple of questions about that. First of all, do I have that right? And second of all, tell us a little bit about what that experience was like for you and what some of the benefits were in your early career. And would you recommend our other listeners who are early stage in their career seeking out those kind of leadership development programs? And then I have one follow-up question after you answer that.
Sure. There's a bunch of questions in itself already.
I know.
Yeah. So I still remember when I was doing my B school in Nanyang Business School. One day I was offered the opportunity from Wipro to join their prestigious Global 100 program, which is mid-career senior management fast track program. So this was a 15 months program. When I got the offer, I wasn't exactly sure how it would turn out over the next 15 months. I knew there was going to be rotations between the different job functions like sales, consulting. But at that point in time when I signed on the contract, I wasn't sure. I didn't have a full idea of how it would turn out, right? So along the way, I still vividly remember in my first stint that the company put me in with Google. I was working in delivery. So I have never worked in delivery, and it was such an incredible experience. Just working on like programs and how do you actually meet the needs of the clients over there? How do you ensure smooth operations for a client? Because that's what we are here for, right? The clients have, they trusted us, they have put us on the job, and we are here to make sure that we run the programs seamlessly for them. So those are the kind of hands-on experiences you will get from such a program. So not just delivery, Wipro puts you through different areas such as like consulting, then pre-sales, delivery, sales, and etc. So this when I started, I didn't exactly know what it meant, but at the end of the program, it means that you have end-to-end view of the entire industry's value chain. You knew from supply to a delivery what it means for a system integrator to deliver services to its clients. And I think the benefits not just in terms of the end-to-end industry experience, it's also the breadth of the industries that they give you. So you do not just work with like big tech companies like the Fortune 500s. You also work with companies in different industries such as telecommunications, retail, energy. So it's a kind of like a depth and a breadth of experiences to get over there. And I was so fortunate. I think I was so privileged and fortunate that beyond just working in Singapore with my clients, I also managed to work in London as well as in Silicon Valley as well. It was really a fast track, jam-packed 15-month program over there. But I think for anyone who's kind of like up for the challenge, then you'll get a bunch of experiences within a short period of time. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like you had a lot of options. So your undergraduate degree, I believe, is in chemical engineering. So fairly technical field. And you had this diverse range of experience in this leadership development program. How did you settle on account management when you were coming out of that program?
Yeah. So this is just like my story, right? So my story, I've went through multiple job stints in my career so far. So it was a pretty long journey to kind of like talk about how I actually ended up in account management today. But I still vividly remember that when I was growing up, that I wanted to do chemical engineering, which is why I enrolled in a chemical engineering degree at that point in time. I was very much interested in chemistry. And I even wanted to work in a big pharmaceutical firm. And I did end up in working in a pharmaceutical firm like Merck. And then shortly after that, I then went to work with my previous company, which was in a specialty chemicals industry. As you have mentioned, I was, again, very privileged to join their management associate program over there. We did work in different roles, ranging from being an engineer, working on the floor, which is super technical, to working in procurement quality. So I did spend the first 2 years of my career in a super technical role. Sometimes opportunities just kind of arise along the way. And when I kind of off-boarded from the program at the 2-year mark, the HR came to me and said, this is a bunch of opportunities that we have. And I think that you will be a real good fit for marketing. Maybe they also did some marketing because that's how they kind of like sold the role to me. And they're like, we think you should do marketing. So I was thinking like, why not, right? So that was like my first stint into doing like commercial related things compared to the traditional technical things, which I was really used to. So when I first started doing a marketing, I was super not used to it because I have never done it before. Yeah. And I still remember within the first 6 months, it was super difficult because I just didn't really know. I knew what content that I have that I need to produce from a technical perspective, but I didn't know how to bring that content to the client. What does it mean for the client? What exactly are they looking for? So within the second 2 years of my career, so I really started to bridge the gap between the technical content and what clients actually want to see, want to hear. So that was initial phase of my career. So, and then after that, I thought, why not just do a B school at this point in time? And after that, finishing B school, it was, as I mentioned, I off-boarded into the Wipro's program. Yeah.
That sounds great. It sounds like you're a very adventurous risk taker. So that's probably a great quality to have early on in your career. Talk a little bit about any barriers you faced. Did you have any challenges as a young woman entering into this highly technical field, and a field in technology that has been fairly male dominated over the last few decades?
Yeah. So I guess the benefit for me is that I already came from a male-dominated industry, from the manufacturing industry. So it was, I would say it is a little less dominated. It's just my personal feeling that like I was in a much more male-dominated environment in manufacturing. But again, I think it's not something for like women to feel much lesser about themselves. I think you should just feel confident about what you're doing because everyone, regardless of their gender, is just going ahead every day and trying to do their best at work. So that's for sure. That's a default mode. And I don't think that you should have to feel less confident about yourself just because of the different labels that other people are putting onto you, be it like a male or woman, or be like your color, or be like your nationality. I think those are not important. They cannot define who you are. So I think everyone should, as much as possible, just go out there, believe in what you're doing every day. You're at work, you're at life for a certain purpose. Just do what you have always been really, really good at. Yeah. And don't care so much about what other people are labeling you as, because they just do not know so much about who you are. It's just my personal point of view. Yeah. Just try to be a little more confident, and I think you'll do amazing. Yeah.
That's great. That's great advice. I want to pivot a little bit. You talked a little bit about connecting client requirements with technical content. And in this age of AI, talk a little bit about how that has really shifted how you work, and maybe talk a little bit about some of the tools and processes that you've experimented with in digital transformation and AI.
Yeah. I think just even like a couple of years ago, nobody would have thought, it was at nobody's like top of the mind that I want to like find something and I'm just going to use a chat GPT for it, right? A couple of years ago, people would want to find something and they would say, I will Google for it. So the lingo has kind of changed in today's terms. So personally, how that has helped in my work is I find that the usage of like AI has helped to reduce the usage or having to do certain really repetitive and mundane work, such as just finding content. So when we used to find content last time with Google, we still have to go to Google and search, and we find the content, we have to synthesize and collate the content. But if you use like tools like ChatGPT, they instantaneously give you like the content that you're looking for without even have to do the work of having to synthesize them together. But the only challenge that I face over there, at least personally for myself, is that for sure, such models are not trained on your company's content. So they are like broadly trained. So they will not give you that kind of like pitch that you're trying to give your client if you're trying to use it for such kind of purposes. So it's still very much down to my personal judgment on what I take from the tool, because ultimately it's just a tool. And it is my duty and my responsibility to bring the right content to my clients. So I still have to do the curation on that part. Yeah. So that's personally how it has affected me at work. But for my clients, I have seen a surge or interest, not just at the employees level. Sometimes there's also top-down pressure where they are where the C-suites or senior management are looking for the adoption of more AI or Gen AI tools or technologies in their landscape, which is a great thing because they believe that the usage of such tools would actually improve the efficiency and productivity of the organization. Great from a leadership point of view, but sometimes when I speak to my clients, some of them are a little more closer to the ground. So they also are very excited to bring in new AI tools to improve their productivity, but at the same time, they are also really wary sometimes on very simple problems or questions they might think about, like, is this going to replace me? Firstly. Secondly, how do I work with it? I have never used such tools before. And we must understand that everyone in the organization comes at a different learning curve, and we must be cognizant about it. We cannot assume just bring or purchasing tools into the organization that's just gonna change how things are done. I mean, I kind of love it that companies want to bring in the tools, but they must understand that the process is also critical. So what are the types of processes? What are the standards or ways of working that you have in your organization today? That's important. Because if you do not understand how it's working like today for your processes, be it like HR workflow, then you are just not going to materialize all the great benefits from some tools that you bring into organization. I think that's the kind of gap that we see in organizations today. And I think we are kind of here to listen to the clients, hear their problems, and really try to find the best fit customized solutions for them that really meets their needs. Yeah.
That is a great segue, because on your LinkedIn profile, you talk about customer obsession.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, what does that mean for you in the day-to-day? And how have you seen those expectations or the tools and I guess thoughtfulness that you bring to your client interactions. How have you seen that changing over the last maybe couple of years since you've been in this role?
Yeah, for sure. Clients' expectations are rising, like skyrocket. They come to you with multiple great ambitions and goals that they want to do. I want to reduce my operational costs. I want to see productivity improvement. I want to implement the latest Gen AI technologies for a fraction of the cost. So there's a lot of different lofty goals that they bring to us sometimes, which is great. But we just kind of take it one step at a time over there, and we help them kind of drill down their lofty goals into materialistic targets that they might have. And we see how we can help them achieve each of these small little targets, because achieving every small little targets goes a long way towards their long-term ambition of whether they want to streamline processes throughout the entire organization. So that has to go kind of one step at a time. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's shift gears a little bit. We had a question from our previous guest, Wendy Redshaw, who's the Chief Digital Information Officer at NatWest Bank in the UK. And I know you've maybe seen that episode or heard her question, but let me just read it for our audience. And I'm so excited, and I'm sure everyone else is too, to hear your response. Wendy's question is, how do you envision the evolution of technology and human interaction with your public sector and enterprise clients in particular? That's the question. And I'll tell you, the thing that got Wendy's attention was your customer obsession and your interest in making sure that you're serving your clients' most current needs. So with that, tell us what your thoughts are on the intersection of human interaction and technology.
Yeah, so I think this is a really tough question, honestly. Yeah. So I think when it comes to trying to look at the interaction or intersection between how technology and humans can coexist together, I mean, at least that's my personal belief, that I believe that technology and humans can coexist together. And although the onboard of technology today has brought us a lot of benefits, at least for myself, as where we can do work in a much better and efficient way than before, but what is still lacking, or a point that technology still cannot bridge yet, is that the in-person connect between the clients and yourself, where they're able to see, feel, and hold you themselves, and be able to really put that kind of trust, have that kind of nuanced conversation, understandings with you. That is something that technology still cannot yet bridge. And that is actually an important and integral aspect of any relationship that we carry. It's not just between account managers and clients, in any relationships that or interactions that you see out there in the world today. This is still a really value integral part of the entire equation to doing great account management. Yeah. So so that, to me, that is still not replaceable, but I can only say that the onset of technology has only helped us to do our work as account managers a lot quicker. But this actually frees up a lot more of our time to do those kind of important things. We are connecting and interacting with our clients, and just being able to bring out problem statements to real life. Yeah,
I think that's a great point. So as you move through your leadership career, how do you keep that? You know, I know that you're working as part of a team, and lots of different aspects of your role as an account manager and at Wipro. How do you keep that customer obsession top of mind for the team, not just yourself?
Yeah, that's a really great question, because I think when we work with our teams, many often at times they are really just focused on their roles. Be it whether they are working in finance, be it whether they are working on a technical solution, because every of these functions are integral to delivering a great, successful program for the client. And it's fairly normal and important that everyone is focused on their roles and responsibilities. But when I try to kind of bring everyone together, I'm always mindful, and I remind them at times that ultimately, at the end of the day, these are the kind of targets that we want to achieve for the client. Is what you are doing actually on track to achieve the targets for the client? If it is not, then we are probably not doing the right thing. So we will often have this kind of like conversations between the teams to ensure that everyone is still on the right track to delivering the client success. Yeah, because ultimately, if you do not deliver the success for the client, then it might mean a lot lesser in the kind of things that you do, because ultimately that's what everyone is trying to work to or achieve towards. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about some advice that you've been given. I'm sure you've had plenty of mentors along the way. I know I have. What's a piece of advice that you've received from one of your mentors that's really stuck with you?
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I think one of their advice that I still vividly remember from one of my mentors was that sometimes at work you are just kind of like so swamped with everything. You kind of like feel that I am already doing too much. I am overloaded. Those kind of feelings can come sometimes. And at that point in time, if, of course, additional new tasks or activities will be given to you, and it's very normal for you to say no, that I do not want to take on additional workload. But if you were to take on like a different perspective, as my mentor said, when people come to you with additional work to do, it's because they trust that you can deliver on the task. And they feel that you are the one that is able to deliver on a commitment, which is why they have decided to come to you instead of everybody else. I mean, there's so many people in the organization. Why would they come to you? So that's the kind of thing that I just kind of like try to bring to myself, that even though it might be a little difficult at times and that it's still a lot of things to do, but it's really not to compromise on the kind of a trust that your colleagues might have on you, and really try to deliver on those kind of activities. Even if it means taking a little bit of extra stretch on that, if I could, then I would try to deliver on that myself. That's kind of how I keep myself sane sometimes.
Well, success definitely breeds success. The more successful you are, the more people want to be around you and want to work on your team. Yeah. So you've told us a little bit about what advice you've been given. What advice do you give people who are early in their career, who want to work on your team and who want to get mentored by you?
Yes, I guess one piece of advice for those who are still young in their career is to always be adventurous, to always hold on to the next opportunity that comes to you, because opportunities don't come often sometimes. And when they come knocking on your door, sometimes it's really to grab the opportunity. Don't be fearful of it. It's normal to be fearful of something that you have never seen before, you have never been before, you have never done it before. But once you kind of open that door, it brings you to new places, new connections, new experiences. So if you're still young in your career, I think it's important to kind of try out different things. And it's normal not to know what you want to do at the end of the day. It's normal that you have no idea what's happening, because at the end of the next couple of months or years, you will come to a point where I have tried different things. And I think this is the thing that I like better. You may not end up in a place where you like the most, but at least you end up in a place where you like a little better than the one before. Yeah.
That's great advice. You're already making me feel more adventurous. I think that's a good reminder for everybody, no matter what stage of your career you're in, is to take some risks and put yourself out there. So thank you for that. So Joanne, as you know, we like to ask our guests to pose questions for our upcoming guests. And we're excited that in 2 weeks, Lois is going to be talking with Ipsita Ghosh and Caitlin Kearney from LTI Manger. They were also Rising Star winners in 2024. So I think you've prepared a question for them. Can you share it with us?
Yeah, so I'm so excited to be sharing a question to the next people. So I just want to ask, like, what kind of skills or mindsets do you think are important for yourself or for your clients or colleagues to thrive in the age of advanced AI tools today? So what kind of skills or mindsets do you think you need to have, nurture, or grow in order to work in this new age with these tools?
I'm so excited to hear what they say. I learn something every time from these conversations. So Joanne, thank you so much. I encourage everybody to connect with Joanne on LinkedIn and follow along as she shares her career journey with all of us. It's been such a pleasure to meet you and to have this conversation. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Heli, and have a great day, everyone, too.
Thanks.